Okay, today we're going to talk about solving for variables in a formula. So if this was my formula, obviously we're using areas and volumes. Okay, I have to try to figure out what the radius is. So think about your algebra. How did I come up with this 18? I would have done I would have probably done square first, times by 4, times by 2, divided by 3, and then that's how I get 18. So we have to work backwards, opposite, to try to isolate it. So the first thing I want to do here is I want to get rid of this 3, so I'm going to times this side by 3 and times that side by 3. So 54 equals 4r squared times 2. Because timesing cancel that away. Okay, to make things easier, I probably could put those two together to be a coefficient of 8. So now I can divide by 8 because this was times by 8, and that's going to be gone. So 54 divided by 8 is 6.75. So now how do I get r alone when it's squared? So what's the opposite of squaring? Would be square rooting. So square root, and I can use my answer button because I had that number. So 2.6 equals r. And I guess I didn't give you any units on that, so that's your answer. Okay, so I'm giving you a sphere, surface area of 615.75 centimeters squared. Find the radius. Okay, so surface area formula, 4 pi r squared, that's the formula. So I'm going to fill in surface area Okay, I want to get the r squared alone, so I'm going to divide by 4 pi. So that would be gone. But I have to be careful on my calculator here. I can't just press divide because I want to divide by all of that, so I need to put it in brackets. So that's important when you're dividing by two things. Oh, did it do it for me? I didn't need to press anything. Bracket 4 pi. Okay, and I get 49. And then how do I isolate r when it's squared? I would do opposite algebra, square root, so 7 centimeters equals my radius. Okay, a cone, we haven't done a cone, has a volume of 90 centimeters cubed, and it has a height of 6 centimeters. So find the radius. So a cone shape. So the volume is pi r squared h, which is a cylinder, but we divide it by 3 because we are taking away some of that volume. Now we're going to fill in, so volume, I'm going to put a 90 in. Pi r squared times h, I can put a 6 there, over 3. So algebraically I'm going to multiply both sides by 3, so I want that gone. So 270. So here I'm going to divide by 6 pi because I'm getting rid of the 6 and the pi. Divide by 6 pi, so I have to do the same thing here. 270 divided by, and then I want this to be treated like a whole piece. So 14.32, etc. equals r squared. And then to get r alone, I square root it. Do you notice that on my calculator here, I'm going to keep the answer and square root that number. I'm not going to do any rounding until the very end. So please use this answer button so that you're always using this number that's to forever decimal places. You're not rounding it here. So the answer is 3.78. And then we started in centimeters or units. Okay, so the next example has cylinder. And it has a surface area of 8,000 meters squared. It has a radius of 4 meters. So we're going to find the height. Okay, so surface area formula. 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi rh. So fill in what you know. 8,000 can go here. 2 pi 4 can go there. 2 pi 4 and h. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply all of that. So 2 pi times 4 squared, we get 100.53. And I'm going to multiply that as well. So 2 times pi times 4 is 25.13. But there's still an h as well that's multiplied there. Okay, so now I want this term alone, so I'm going to get rid of this term. So 8,000 minus 7899.47. And then to get h alone, it's connected with a multiplying, so now I divide it. And I get 314.72 meters for the height. Here is the biggest mistake I see. I always see people trying to put this and this together. I see this step when they have 100.53 and then they add it with that. And then all of a sudden they've turned it into that. Okay? That is wrong because this is a term and this is a term. You can't put them together because this has an h on it and this doesn't. So this is wrong, but lots of tendency to do that. You cannot combine this term and this term together. You have to algebraically treat them separately. Okay, let's do one where we have to have a cube. So volume of a sphere is 458 centimeters cubed. Find radius. So volume equals 4 pi r cubed divided by 3. That's the formula. So volume I can fill in here. 4 pi, don't know the radius. Algebraically, I'm going to start with a times by 3. So 1374 times by 3, got that out of there. Now I want this alone, so I'm going to divide by a 4 and a pi. So they're gone. So 1374 divided by bracket, that whole bottom piece. 109.34. Okay, so now we haven't seen this before. How do you isolate r when it's cubed? What's the opposite of cubing? It would be cube rooting. So, some of you might have a cubed root on your calculator, but here's my button in this orange on top. It means to take the any root of. Okay, so I'm going to take the third root of, so I push 3 any root, and then I want of that number that I had in my calculator, and I get 4.78. Okay, so again, so if you want to take the cube root of something, so for instance, 4 times, or let's just do something simple, 3 times 3 times 3, right, is 27. So if I want to do the cubed root of 27, then I go the cubed root of 27, and I should get 3. So 4 times 4 times 4 is 64, so if I want to do the cubed root of 64, I type it like this, cubed root of, and then 64, which is 4.